Yo, what's up guys? It's TheLegoBro here. Welcome back to another video here on the channel. Today I'm giving you my thoughts on Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantamania. So the reviews on this thing are terrible. I think it got like 50% or something by critics, but audience I think gave it around 80, 85. So it's kind of that, I don't know how it's actually going to be until I see it for myself, but I'm going to assume based on what everyone's saying and how I think it looks, it doesn't have Louise or the game, so that sucks. I think it's going to be like a 6.5 or 7 out of 10. That's what I'm thinking. We'll go with 6.5. That's what I think it's going to be before I see it, but I will see you guys after the movie.
Yo, this is sick.
Okay, that was definitely not as good as I thought it was going to be. It was still decent, but I was hoping it would be a bit better. But anyways, let's start with the storyline / my overall thoughts. Okay, where do I even begin? This storyline was all over the place. I think my biggest complaint was that they were in the quantum realm the whole time. And honestly, that's kind of an issue because when you have so much of everything, you don't really enjoy it as much. Like, for example, when Ant-Man got big in the other movies, it was amazing to see because we've never seen it before. But in this movie, when you see things so many times, it's just not as exciting when you see it again. So about halfway into the film, you're like, yeah, cool, there's another creature made of broccoli. That's cool, but I've seen it before so many times at this point, so it's like, yeah, I don't really want to see all these things again. I'd rather just focus more on the story, and the storyline isn't honestly all that great. Some of the stuff is good, but I feel like they tried to put an Ant-Man movie into an Avengers type of theme, and I kind of would have rather seen just a conclusion to the Ant-Man trilogy instead of a, you know, Avengers kind of part 1 type of thing for phase 5. So yeah, I wish it was more of an Ant-Man movie rather than a Marvel Avengers type of movie, if that makes sense to you. Okay, so the villains in this movie are a mixed bag for me, and a lot of people are going to hate on me so much for this. Literally everyone is going to hate on me for this, but my favorite villain in the movie was actually MODOK. So Kane was decent. I did enjoy Jonathan Majors' performance as Kane, but I feel like, again, he doesn't belong in an Ant-Man movie. I'd rather see him in Loki or Avengers or something like that. I just kind of wanted a small-scale Ant-Man movie, and that's kind of why MODOK worked for me. I know that he was super comedic and really cringy, especially that face. But honestly, I thought it was super funny. I thought it worked well for the storyline. I loved how they put Darren Cross's story and just made him into MODOK. It was funny. It worked well. I liked the fight scenes with MODOK, and I liked the conclusion. Well, okay, I don't really like how he died because they kind of just wasted him, but I thought it was a funny story, and I thought he worked really well for me. So yeah, I actually liked MODOK better than Kane. I kind of wish he was the only villain in the movie and just saved Kane for the Kane Dynasty and Secret Wars. But yeah, that's what I think about the villains. Most of the characters are actually pretty weak in this whole movie. Unfortunately, Scott Lang and Hope don't really get any character development at all. They kind of just stay in that same form that they were in the other movies, and they don't develop or anything, which is really annoying to see. I thought that Catherine Newton did a good job as Cassie Lane, but I also feel like it was really rushed, her storyline. Just all of a sudden she has this suit and she wants to become an Avenger and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I could see that happening, but like, why does it need to happen so fast? Why can't they just take this time on this thing and just actually have it develop instead of just rushing it? So that was kind of annoying too. If you're wondering about Bill Murray, he is in this movie for like 10 minutes, so don't watch this movie to see him. He's a very minor character. He was okay, but he wasn't really in it much. I was also kind of frustrated with what they did with Hank Pym, because I feel like in the first 2 movies, he's a very pivotal character, and in this one, he's there. He's in the whole thing. He talks a decent amount, but I don't know. There's no development, and he's just kind of there. Most of the story is actually centered around Janet Van Dyne, and I feel like it was weird to do that because, like, I'd rather see it about Scott and Hope, even Hank. I don't really care about Janet Van Dyne, honestly, and they kind of made her connect to Kane in the past and stuff, and I just didn't really care for it at all, honestly. And easily my favorite character in this movie would definitely have to be Louise. He was just a really great character. Hot golly! Yeah, this movie literally has no Louise at all. There's not even a mention of Louise. It's like they wrote him out of the script. Like, why? Just look at this guy. How can you not love Louise?
What's up?
For me, that is a big factor in why I don't like this movie that much. You don't have Louise in it, and in the first 2 movies, he was such a big component, and it's like you take him out, and then all of a sudden the movie starts to feel empty. And that's just like a big part of why I don't like this movie as much. It also doesn't have Kurt and Dave, so it's just terrible. Like, that was so fun just in the first 2 films to watch those 3 guys just have fun together. And they're not even in this. I was thinking before this movie, I was like, man, this is going to be great. Maybe Louise will finally get a suit that he's been talking about, but they're like, nah, you don't get Louise, which is just so stupid. So before I actually talk about the end credits scene, for it to make sense, I need to let you know that Kane does die. I don't exactly know how he dies. It's kind of confusing, but he does die. And then at the end, in the first end credit scene, you see a bunch of different versions of Kane. And then the coolest one that I saw would definitely have to be the Egyptian version. And then the second end credit scene actually has to do with Loki. So you see Loki and Mobius, and basically they're watching some performance of Kane as like a magician or something. And I feel like it's leading up to Loki Season 2, but it looked really cool. So overall, this movie was decent, I guess. I was hoping it would be better, but, you know, with how Marvel's been lately, I guess it's kind of expected at this point. I did think that there were some good elements. I thought that the CGI was really good. I really liked MODOK. There's a lot of stuff I really didn't like too. I know it sounded like I hated this movie with the review because I said a lot of bad things, but there was a decent amount of good things about this film. I just feel like it was more of a MCU Phase 5 setup rather than, you know, like an actual Ant-Man 3 movie. But yeah, so overall I would give this movie a 7 out of 10. That's being generous, but I'll give it a 7 out of 10. If you guys did enjoy this video, tell me what you thought about Ant-Man 3 in the comments down below, and I will see you guys on the next one. Peace out.